Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome to the stream.
How you guys doing?
Welcome. Kazuto Archer, welcome. Make Havoc. Steve, is that you? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you guys. Obrigado. Thank you for coming, showing up. Let me see. I gotta get my tape going. Oops. Let me see if I can get my co-host patched in here. It's Tuesday evening. Let me see here.
Hello?
Sean? Is that
Hello?
you?
That's me.
Oh, welcome to the stream, Sean. Let's see. Where's your face? Where is this? Where is this dang? Nope. Where's your face, Sean? Oh, there it is. All right. Sean Chen, everybody.
Hello.
I'm Bernard Chang, comic book artist, designer. It's my buddy Sean Chen, comic book artist, industrial designer. Sean's currently drawing Batman Beyond for DC Comics. I'm currently drawing X-Men Children of the Atom for Marvel. Wei,
Hello,
ni hao. How you doing? A to the J. A to the J, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? What is that icon? The emoji, hi? How is everybody doing tonight?
That?
I need to change this stream info.
Kazuto already wants to know the dirt on DC.
I already forgot about the stream info. So what do you want to talk about, Kazuto? Corporate restructuring. This kind of stuff happens. Corporate restructuring. It's not a pleasant situation. Last stream yesterday, we talked about my own experience being laid off when I joined Disney Interactive. So, these things happen. I don't think it's a reflection or anything in terms of the quality of the product, subject matters of the product. When a company gets absorbed or bought out by another company, in this case, Warner Brothers was acquired by AT&T, of which DC is a part of. There will always be these kind of situations that arise. Back in the late 90s, I was at Disney. Well, I was at Disney.
Hello, Barry.
Barry, how you doing? Barry 10. When Disney bought ABC and ESPN, they acquired those two networks. Similar thing happened. A lot of consolidation. You basically have people, a couple different situations. You have people maybe working, same guy at ABC does, somebody at Disney does the same thing that ABC does and that ESPN does. And so the corporation, instead of looking to pay 3 people to do the same thing, they consolidate that down to 1 or 2 positions. There's also cost cutting.
Just, I don't think we necessarily know much more than, because, I'm still working on Batman Beyond. I haven't really heard from my editor, so I figure we'll be updated soon on what's going on, but it's still, all this stuff is kind of still breaking. So
I've talked to some people. I'm not privy to talk about this stuff, though.
We can talk in general.
It'd be very speculative and talk in general, but can't be very specific about things. But I'm just kind of giving you a heads-up overview. When I was at Disney, when I was at Imagineering, we faced a similar kind of situation. This was 2001 when I was at Imagineering. I was at Imagineering from 1997 to 2001. Probably from 2000 or so, they started beginning to, at some point, downsize. They had finished, or beginning to finish, they had finished Tokyo Disney Sea. I believe they were about to finish and open California Adventure. So there were some beginnings of kind of downsizing a little bit, mostly because there weren't a lot of new projects. Even I should turn off basketball. I got a basketball game going on over here. It's very distracting. So a lot of times the company, because of stocks, I worked on a project for over a year that got shelved. Not because the project wasn't any good, it was actually greenlit. But then it got shelved because of stock issues. So when you're in a corporation, when you work for a corporation, a lot of times some of these things do happen. It's very unfortunate. You want to always try to stay ahead of the curve. But there's always like cost-cutting measures. Trimming the fat. Sometimes when you're trimming the fat, you're cutting into some of the muscle. And I think a lot of people feel that way about what's happened. But eventually, I think the people that are there hopefully will continue to do great work, and the people that were asked to leave will land on their feet, if not in better situations. I know for me, when I got first laid off when I was at Disney Interactive, I had a really great summer. Got laid off in April. Didn't really join didn't join Imagineering until I think November. So I had from March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October to kind of go out, hang out, drink, draw comics, still getting paid. So it's not that bad. Sean, you ever been laid off? No, you haven't.
Well, I never really worked for. I mean, I've always been freelance.
I mean, when we were at Valiant, and Valiant was acquired by Acclaim, there was a couple people that moved out, right? I mean, a couple people kind of saw the writing on the wall. Marketing, sales. Anytime any company gets absorbed by another, there's bound to be some kind of trimming of the budget.
I was wondering what you feel about some of our colleagues are kind of like very angry that this happened and kind of blame the parent companies for trying to save money, or like I think Vida Ayala, your writer, had some very strong words for AT&T and what they're doing.
I haven't seen that. Was it on Twitter?
I think it was on our Instagram.
Oh. These are corporations that we work for. I mean, you and I are freelance. So I remember, I guess my association would be, back at Valiant, when we were at Valiant. It was in my early 20s. When I first started working at Valiant, they quickly signed us to exclusive deals. So we were kind of, quote unquote, part of the company, right? We got a salary, we got health insurance, we got stock options. So we felt like we were part of this family. And for the most part, you are. You're family with your coworkers, the people that you work for. And I remember when I first joined Valiant, I talked to Steve Mazarski, who was the publisher at the time, and Bob Layton. I said, look, I'm a very loyal guy. You guys have given me an opportunity to become a professional. I'm going to repay that loyalty to you tenfold. And rejected offers from other companies. There were other companies that after I first started drawing, came and asked if I was available to jump ship. Um, and you know, I kind of turned down all those offers because at the time I was very loyal to Valiant. Um, but then when Valiant was acquired by Acclaim, I saw your question earlier, Steve and Barry. I'll get back to that in a minute after this rant. After Valiant was acquired by Acclaim, they had let go of Bob. Bob Layton was kind of squeezed out. Would you say he squeezed out, Sean, or was he? I don't think he left on his own because he wanted to leave.
I remember him playing video games all day in the conference room. I think he wasn't happy.
And Acclaim, I think, looking to usher in a new direction and leadership, brought in Fabian Nicieza. Is that how you pronounce his last name, Sean?
Nice and easy, I think.
Nice and easy? I can never pronounce it correctly. So Fabian, Sean, you got along with Fabian really well. Wanted to, usher in kind of a new direction for Valiant. And I think right around that time, my initial 4-year contract had ended, or was ending. And but there's a new captain on the ship. And I had a talk with Steve because Bob had already left. I feel like at the time, because I was associated with Bob had been my mentor, my second father. Fabian kind of wanted his own people, loyal to him, if you want to break it down to that dramatic sensibility. And I think I was unwilling at the time to capitulate, to bend the knee. Steve made me a secondary offer. I think he made me an offer to stay on as art director at Valiant. But there's no guarantee of any of the books that I would be drawing. And the pay would be the same. But back then, without the royalty checks, without guarantee of working on one of the top books, the base pay was very low. So I decided to pack up and shop my wares with Marvel and other companies. But I think I was very upset at Steve for a little bit, Mazarsky, because I felt like we had been very loyal to the quote unquote company. But it goes to show, and I think we were, right? I mean, I don't think we did anything that was detrimental to the company, and if anything, the hours that we put in, the blood, sweat, and tears, went to make the company. But it goes to show you that, it's a corporation. Acclaim was a company. Valiant was a company. And there's only so much, because whoever's running the ship, the captain of the ship, if that changes, the owner of the ship changes, there's no guarantee. So it's not really like a family. Because if you're a family, you are forever bound to those people. And it's an unfortunate situation. So, is it not the best move? Yeah, probably not. All those people have been working very hard, have produced many books, many quality books, products. But it is the nature of the game. How do you feel about that, Sean?
Well, I remember you were very loyal. I mean, not so much. I mean, it was a jobber thing, and honestly, I had my eye on Marvel or DC. So yeah, you were, and that's kind of what I mean. You left because you had more principles or whatever, morals. The guard changed. I changed. I
Well, they
changed
gave
it.
you. I mean, you worked very hard when you were there, and they awarded you with Exo Man of War, But you eventually ended up at Marvel, right? After a year or two, I think it
Yeah, I
was.
mean, it was lucky that EXO. I wanted the top book at Marvel at Valiant, so that was EXO. So I don't really like drawing flying armor guy, but that was the top book. So I pretended like I liked drawing it, and then after I did that book, it was just kind of an easy transition over to Iron Man, and Iron Man was just coming back from Image with Heroes Return. So they needed someone on that, and I had like a whole bunch of experience drawing flying armor guys. So that kind of set me up for that. And then as soon as I got accepted at Marvel, like I just jumped ship. I think Fabian's really sore about that, but yeah, I went to Marvel and started doing Iron Man, which is the book that I really cut my teeth on over there.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I think a few years
but
after
man,
that, after I had moved out to LA, and it kind of also boosted my that decision also boosted my own personal decision to take up the Disney offer at the time. Um, and you always have to be prepared, right? Nothing is forever. And you think about what happened yesterday too. It wasn't just DC Comics. I mean, it was across the board Warner Brothers. So if you look at the movie studios, the television studios, they were basically reorganizing um, a lot of their initiatives, focusing more towards HBO Max, right? So the streaming services, and the comic book industry was definitely took a hit last few months this year because of the coronavirus quarantine, um, and it's a very unfortunate situation. So, um, I mean, Bob Harris, Bobby Chase, Hank, Brian Cunningham, Mark Doyle, all these guys, uh, top of the line professionals. And the flip side is with any kind of these corporate restructuring, the people that are left, they tend to get promoted and maybe a slight raise, while the company is shedding uh, probably heavier contracts or heavier pays. There's now some crumbs lying around, loose change, and it gets reallocated. And so it is a positive. There are people that are left that will be actually promoted, will actually get raises, and move up. And then eventually, this cycle might happen again. Um, you hope it doesn't happen very often. You hope it doesn't happen for the wrong reasons. Um, but because it is a company, look, I think Steve and I, Mazarski, we made up after that. A few years went by after I moved out to LA to work at Disney, then getting laid off 8 months after moving out, after signing a 3-year deal with Disney. Um, really began to, it was like a 1-2 punch, within a year. Really began to understand how this kind of, how the nature of corporations work. And, who can you blame, right? I mean, the the top guy at Warner Brothers now is not necessarily going to, or HBO Max or AT&T. You know, they probably don't really understand the nuances of comic book publishing. I think a lot of the argument is that Sean and I talked last night. Um, comic books are generators of story ideas, right, Sean? I mean,
yeah, IP farm. We
yeah.
call it.
And all the movies that we've seen, all the shows, the cartoons, the animated series related to these superheroes, to these characters, it all originally started as a comic book story, a comic book arc.
And
So,
it's very cheap to make a comic book, so they can put out a lot of stuff and get a lot of ideas. You know, that's a good thing about comics is that it's so cheap to produce. But one thing that you can say, if you can say like these things happen all the time, but what kind of rubs me the wrong way is like when the guy at the top, AT&T, makes like 700 times what I do drawing Batman Beyond. That is a little bit strange, but it's
Yeah,
corporations
corporate
like
pay
that.
discrepancy is another topic. I mean, it's a whole other ball of wax, you know. Um, I mean, even at if you break it back down to Valiant, you know, when we're at Valiant, Valiant sold for 60 something million to Acclaim. Um, all the board of directors, you know, Steve, Bob, John Hartz, you know, they got a nice payday, and but the people that were grinding and doing the day-to-day work, you know, got some, but nothing in comparison to what those guys got. So it's it's something that we all have to learn to navigate with, um, and especially now, I think pay discrepancy amongst the executives versus the workers are very different. Even comic book pay, you know, comic book rates for artists, writers, it's a high level of, you know, you go from A down here all the way to guys making X amount up here. There is no union, so there's no stabilization of rates. Um, it's every man, woman for themselves. It's an unfortunate situation. Is that Blair? I think that's Blair. Barry 10. Bebop. Anyways, going back, that's enough for the rant, right? Unless you want us to rant some
You gotta
more.
start drawing.
I gotta start drawing.
What character today?
What character do you guys want to see today? Well, this is a storm I done a while ago, and then I pulled her up and um, kind of reworked a little bit. Uh,
You should draw a female today.
yeah, I was thinking like maybe Supergirl or Power Girl. Um, what do you guys think? Supergirl, Power Girl. Somebody mentioned Huntress last time, but Huntress has that weird mask, which is like really kind of hard to figure out. Do I need to create a poll?
I think you should start drawing ASAP.
Crispy Papa, welcome to the stream. Mr. Joshua, we got the whole game back. We got Kazuto Archer. We had Steve on here, make havoc. Oh, there he is again. Steve is a Laker fan. Golf Boy Sunday, welcome back. Let's see who else. The Raka 45. Good to see you again. This was a storm I did a while ago. I actually fixed up this part. You can see this on my Instagram, the Bernard Chang. Sean Chen's Instagram is Sean Chen Art. Let me type that in real quick.
I'll be drawing too today.
What are you gonna draw, Sean? Are we gonna draw the same thing? You want to draw the same character?
Oh man, that is so wrong.
You want to draw the same? We did Sean and I did a thing for MTV like a few years ago. Too bad I didn't think about. I always thought like, oh, it's gonna be on there forever, and I never recorded it. Where we did a draw battle. Remember that? Uh,
Yeah,
at a small
yeah that
Comic
could
Con
get
in
us canceled.
Chinatown. That was actually pretty fun. I mean, the ending of it was pretty ingenious, and it was all spontaneous, right? Um, give Sean a follow there. Let's see.
Mr. Joshua wants a female villain.
Ooh, what's a female villain?
Well,
Catwoman?
yeah.
Poison Ivy?
Yeah, you're not going to be able to see me draw. I'm drawing now
Harley
because I'm
Quinn?
not on video. But then I will send the drawing to Bernard and he'll show it.
Yeah, Sean still needs to get a webcam. Trying to figure out the easiest way.
I need a webcam and a pair of balls.
Well, the pair of balls you just gotta rub it. They're sticking together. They gotta drop. That's all. They gotta drop. I mean, that is the thing, Kasudo. We figuring like Sean eventually will stream on his Twitch, and then we can squad stream. I think, right? Can anybody squad stream, or do you have to be a partner? Suli did it the other day, right? But then, and I was thinking like initially, if I kept this X-wing cockpit layout, Sean could be like a TIE fighter, with the octagon center, and then different panels around. So it would be like battling each other.
That fat pilot. I'd be that fat guy.
No, Tommy's the big guy. And then we'll all get helmets. Be red leader. You can be yeah. I mean, there's endless possibilities. I'm actually working on a Battlestar Galactica Viper cockpit right now, and then I think I also have a Robotech cockpit, and then so we'll run with this for a little bit, for maybe another week, get bored of it, and then come up with something else. Yojimbo, welcome. Good to see you again. I know Bebop always likes Firestorm. There is a female Firestorm too, right? Stargirl. Stargirl. Let's see who else. Porkins was the fat guy's name?
Yeah, can you believe that's his name? That's like fat shaming the guy.
Well, doesn't he come from a planet that on his planet he's actually thin? I mean, you gotta think about like the infinite planets that are out there. If there's an alien that can look like a hammerhead, I'm sure.
He was a human being. He was just fat.
Yeah, but there's different humans. There's different there's got to be like on different planets because of the gravitational pull. Maybe there's like really low gravity, so they have to be heavy, right? Otherwise, they just float away off into the space. Right. And eventually, I think I'd like to add Yoji. Does Yoji want to come onto the audio? Do we want to? And I think maybe we'll get some of the regulars every now and then. They can patch in on audio, and we can kind of.
That's a great idea.
Hear what these guys actually sound like if you guys want to talk. And then maybe I can create like a little icon. It's all based on time right now. J Dang, welcome. Phoenix. Right, Steve, but Phoenix is Marvel, and today we're going to focus on DC. I know you're still trying to catch up to that. What's in Marvel, what's in DC Universe. But it's okay, Steve. Yeah, so I got Discord. Discord screen name is The Bernard Chang. So all my social media, it's The Bernard Chang. But right now the audio, I got a question for you guys. I think you can hear our conversation also on Discord. Or can you hear, or is it a private conversation on Discord? Because sometimes Sean and I are on there and we're talking shit before we're streaming. And then I'm like, oh, Sean, we got to watch out because if someone's on the Discord, they might hear us. Silk Spectre. Firehawk. Enchantress. Kazuto wants Kitty Pryde. Actually, I do have to do a Kitty Pryde commission. I think eventually some of these streams I'm going to be doing a sketch, but I want to be doing sketches of Zealot from Wildcats. That's interesting. That's a DC character, right? Zealot? What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I think so. And it's in honor of Jim Lee.
Well, Jim Lee's birthday today, yes.
Yeah.
Also our buddy Jerry Ma. Jerry Ma from Epic Props. I think that's a good one. Zealot. Wow, we came up with a good one. Look at that. We all brainstormed together and worked as a team All right. It's my iPad. Let's see. Zealot. Let me pull up some Zealot reference. I know she has short hair, and she has. Does she have like some marks on her face? DC is publishing He-Man. Yes, I did draw He-Man. I did a cover for He-Man once. I mean, it's a rough day today. Yesterday. Yeah, let me see. Do I have to send people an invite? Let me create an invite. Copy, paste. Let me paste this on here. There's my Discord invite. Yeah, strange boomerang, like kind of like a cheep cheep, right? Kind of goes out and then comes back in. This is all from memory, but we got the internet in front of me. Let's pull up some reference. What are you drawing, Sean?
I am actually I'm drawing a Marvel character, so I am drawing Magic.
Ooh,
Ilyana Rasputina.
nice. Have you ever drawn a New Mutants?
I have not.
Yeah, I wonder if when that movie's gonna come out.
Kazuda wants to know if we ever met Stan Lee.
I've met Stanley 2 or 3 times. Have you
I
ever
think
met
everyone
Stanley?
has. Yeah, and well, actually, I think I worked with him once. I mean, I drew something he wrote.
Oh, wow. When was this?
I think it was for when the X-Men movie. They have a little comic that goes into the DVD.
Nice. Nice. Oh yeah, hey, by the way, Blair, I got your message. But I was gonna reply back to you on Instagram, but then I noticed that it's your kid's account now. So, but I got your message and I'll hook it up. So I got you. Barry 10 is one of the first people that got me into seriously collecting comics. Prior to meeting him, I was reading G.I. Joe, Transformers, um, and then I met Barry 10, and he was a huge DC fan, huge Firestorm fan. Did you like the Blue Beetle too? Was it Blue Beetle or Booster Gold? And then Infinite on Crisis on Infinite Earths. So I remember we're at in the lunchroom, and I think and then there was another dude. There was 1 or 2 other guys that was kind of in this comic book group in junior high. Brian Carter and Garrett, right? This dude named Garrett something. Oh, it is yours? Because it says the official site of your son. Alright, well, okay. Yeah, and I remember when somebody brought it in. It might have been Blair or it might have been Brian. They brought Crisis on Infinite Earths in, the cover where Superman is holding a... what am I drawing again? Oh, Zealot. Okay. Does Zealot have swords?
Many.
She holds swords. Oh, and so she doesn't really have short hair. Or this is a new
Like
version.
a ponytail, right?
Well, there's an older version. It looks like she has a ponytail, but it's short in the front. But then there's one that I don't see the hair in the back. Does she always have the ponytail? Even in the original Wildcats? Or was it shorter? I'll draw it with short hair. Fuck it. Executive decision. I just... Yeah, she had short hair in her debut. Yeah. Sean, what do you think Yoji sounds like? Do you think he's like has a high pitched voice or a low pitched voice? Do you think Yoji has the voice of a radio announcer?
He probably sounds like a rabbit, right? Yojimbo.
Right, we used to call Brian Carter Ruffy because he was like a little puppy dog, right, or something like that. I wonder whatever happened to Brian Carter. Berman, yes. Uh, Garrett. I didn't really like Garrett that much. He put me in a figure four leg lock once, and he actually like executed it, like figure four leg lock, and that shit hurt. I thought we were just like playing around, and he actually locked that shit in. Um,
Hey, Barry says he has a drawing that you did in 8th grade, so we gotta find some way to show it.
oh yeah, Barry, can you take a picture of that and then take a picture of that, text it to me, or DM it to me on Instagram, and I can post it up. 8th grade, how old is that? 14? 13, 14? Ugh. We used to go to the same comic book shop, right? Sunshine Comics in Sunrise. And
Oh boy.
my initial thought is to kind of maybe her holding like a sword over her face, you know? And then I don't know where the other arm is doing. But then Barry 10, we ended up going to two different high schools. Oh wow. Did he become like a rabbi or something? He always struck me as kind of somewhat religious. Ruffy. But Garrett put me in a figure four leg lock, and that was very painful. Sean, have you ever been put in a figure four leg lock before?
No,
You
no, I
know,
can't say.
I thought we were just like fucking around, like having like, oh, okay, well, let's pretend to put it in a figure four leg lock, and he actually went through with it. Like, what a dick. But hey, you know what? We were like, I don't know, 13, 14 years old. So again, with the initial drawing, you guys want to draw along, you can draw along.
Kazuto has a question about who's the greatest comic artist of all time, as far as we're concerned.
Ooh,
The GOAT.
that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yojimbo's brother power drived him once. That's even worse, man. Your head is like stuck between his knees, and then he went boom boom, like plopped you down. I hope it was like on a bed or something. Sean, were you ever into wrestling?
No.
Blair, have you ever heard from Seth Sherman? Seth Sherman is another kid that we went to junior high with. But I don't think Seth was into comics, but he was into like other stuff. He was really into wrestling at one point. Seth's dad was a lawyer, and he would get front row seats to the WWF events when they came into Miami at the James L. Knight Center downtown. On the ground, concrete. Damn, Yoji.
Make Havoc has a question for you about digital or traditional.
Oh,
I think he
digital
wants to know.
traditional, right. Yeah, I thought you had asked the question earlier. Make Havoc, well, right now all this stuff, the commissions is traditional, but the Children of the Atom, most of the first issue is traditional. This last few pages are digital, and all of the second issue is digital. So, back during Teen Titans last year and the year before. I think starting with issue 30, 32, 31 was all digital. Prior to that, it was all traditional. Um, so it's kind of a mix. The
On your
covers that I've been
iPad.
doing, yeah, all on digital on iPad, Procreate. I just saw that yesterday. I was updating my Photoshop on my Cintiq. It says it's available on the iPad now, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. Um, there's good things and bad things with Procreate. I like, or things that I like and things that I don't like. Um, Sean, aren't you surprised I haven't erased yet?
Yeah, I think you usually wipe out the entire drawing like maybe
Oh,
three
too late.
times.
Too late. Okay. That's a
Oh,
very
there it
difficult
goes.
pose with with her arm in the foreground and me talking and drawing it at the same time. I think I'm gonna go with something a little bit simpler.
Oh, we never answered that question about the greatest of all time comic book artist.
Man, I don't know if I want to answer that. I mean, that's just like greatest of all time, the greatest of modern time. I would say the greatest of modern time is Jim Lee. If you want to say
I agree.
if there's an industry equivalent to Michael Jordan, it is Jim Lee. Um, he's really. I mean, the other Image founders: Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, Mark Silvestri, uh, Wilts Portasio. Um, who was the Silverhawk guy? Shadowhawk guy? Valentino? Jim Valentino? But Jim really is I think the modern day greatest of all time. Now, if you wanted to go further back and like, Jack Kirby, Neil
It has
Adams,
to be Kirby.
right? But then you're going back into like if we were to do an equivalent of like Michael Jordan, now you're going back to Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain era. Um, but I think modern era, from the 80s on up, 90s on up, Jim Lee. Yeah, because then you can go Will Eisner, you can go Wally Wood, but Jim Lee,
Alex Toth.
Alex Toth, you know, Alex Toth also is like more like a animation designer. Um, all those Super Friends, Thundar the Barbarian. That's another one we could be drawing sometime. I'm drawing Thundar, and then that horse dude. Was that a horse dude or was it just like a Chewbacca kind of dude? You know what I'm talking about? The guy that just Thundar the Barbarian. They should bring that shit back. That was actually pretty cool. If you really like thought it out a little bit more, I think there's a lot in that universe. But I just remember the beginning sequence. This pose here is looking more like the
Ukla the Mock.
Oogla, yeah. But and then the female chick, she was super hot. When was the
I'm
year that
surprised anyone.
the world came to an end in Thundar the Barbarian? It's gotta be maybe if it was it 2020? Maybe. Was it a nuclear war that created the devastation? So Sean, you think Jim Lee is the number one greatest of all time?
Yeah, yeah. I don't really look too much in the past. Um, I should, but I don't know comics history as much. But Jim Lee, as far as comics are concerned, comics history for me begins with Jim Lee's.
I remember, again, I've said this story many times. Uh, Back in collecting comics, uh, Barry 10 lived like down the block from me off of West Dixie Highway. I lived in a complex called Riverwood. I wonder if it's still there. And, you're young, you didn't have cars. We couldn't go to the comic book shop every week. So I eventually would go like maybe once a month. Um, but then I'd get comics delivered to me in the brown paper bag for Marvel subscriptions. And so I'd get Alpha Flight, X-Men, G.I. Joe, and Transformers. I think those were the 4 books I would get delivered to me in the mail. And then you go to the comic book store and you get annuals and limited series and all these other goodies. But Alpha Flight was one of my favorite books too. And I would read that. And then I remember one day, the latest issue came in the mail. I got to look it up again. I'm a bit curious to see if I can analyze. And this it was a new artist, guest artist on the book, and I remember flipping it open. I was walking I remember specifically where I was. I was walking in the courtyard of the complex. And I got the book, I opened it up, I was excited, looked through it. Oh, it's a new artist. And but then I started flipping through it and I was like, wow, I really like this guy. I really felt like he had something that was different, that was very interesting, dynamic. And remember looking up his name, Jim Lee. And then shortly after that, I think I started high school. Or maybe might around the same time. And then fast forward to going to New York, to Pratt, and picking up that X-Men 275. Opening that up. Was amazed by the cover. Opened it up. Looked through the art. Was like, wow, this is, amazing. The X-Men had gone so far from when I was collecting, when it was John Romita Jr. And then I looked at the credits, and Jim Lee. I was like, wow, that's the same guy that drew Alpha Flight, the Alpha Flight issue that I remembered. So comics really, can have a lasting impact. Sean, do you ever have one of those moments? You remember
Yeah.
comics that you used to read when you were a kid?
Well, I didn't read comics growing up. I mean, not the American comics. My first comics were off the newsstand that was heavy metal magazines. So I was seeing like Mobius, all the European stuff. So I had a bit of trouble integrating into the American mainstream system.
Actually, also, I found the picture that was on Instagram today. Okay, Barry sent the picture. Let me look it up.
Man, you gotta get that drawing going.
I gotta get that drawing.
I'm almost done.
You're almost done?
Wow, I gotta ink it.
Oh, damn. Alright, how do I save this? Okay. So it was also Captain America. Alright, let me airdrop these two onto my computer.
So what are you showing us now?
The drawings I did when I was in 8th grade. For
Oh, this is a
my
special
buddy.
treat. So you're not embarrassed to show it?
Hey, this is 8th grade. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up here. Shit, we're almost an hour in. I haven't even locked in the pose yet. Oh, let me find this other picture. I wonder if some of these guys that we know on the stream are on this picture. Okay, let me Boop, 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 boop. Red alert, red alert. Alright. We've come to a full stop in the stream today. Nope, that's not it. Image 2, okay. Let me browse. Let me find this image. Sean, say something interesting while I look for this. Look for these images. How did you guys like the? Okay, here's one. All right.
Oh, Jim Lee's not giving away sketches anymore.
Because someone like tried to flip it, right? Okay. Here we go. Look at this. This is a Thor. 8th grade.
It's pretty good. I mean, he is kind of punching himself in the dick, but
yeah, he's grabbing his dick. Cool. You know, 8th grade, man. You got a lot of hormones going, right? He's like grabbing his crotch. Got the signature in there though. Always make sure you got the signature in there. He's standing on a rock.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, crappy signature.
You got a huge head. Thor. Why did I draw Thor? I never really liked Thor. Did you like Thor? I think that was around when Simonson was drawing Thor, and Thor became a horse and then became a frog, right?
You gotta put that on your Instagram stories.
I'll put that on my Instagram stories. Excuse the stain, Barry said. See, look, I wasn't the only one that was. Like where's the stain? Oh, there's the stain right there. Look at that. Come on. Yeah. That's some 3D. That's some high-level art there. All right. Well, you know, this arm is okay. The bicep, the shoulder connecting the bicep, tricep. That's all right. I think I still draw arms that way a little bit. Let's see this leg. I just drew this leg the other day. I don't draw muscles on this leg like this anymore. With the on this left leg. Too bad I can't get
symmetrical muscles. Yeah, in the leg.
Yeah, the 3 muscles. I don't know the name of those. His left arm is kind of short and stubby. That's a heavy. There's another stain up here. Oh, Blair was really excited with this drawing. It's two stains. 8th grade. All right, let me find the other image. Blast from the past. Didn't I draw like a firestorm for you at some point? Wasn't it like a firestorm? You know, sometimes I don't look at different artists' work online because I don't want it to influence me. I drew Blair into it. All right. There's Blair punching out Captain America.
Oh wow, you drew that?
Yeah. So this is like, you can tell on the right, the cartoony guy. That's kind of a generic junior high cartoony.
Mad Magazine.
Yeah. And with the sunglasses. What does the hat say? Was it the Chargers? I think Barry liked the Chargers. Was that right? I think he was a big fan of the Chargers. Or is that North Miami Beach Chargers? Because the high school that I didn't go to. Pizza sauce. He says it's pizza sauce, Sean. I don't know if it was pizza sauce. Pizza sauce is usually red. That one. Sure, we'll call it pizza sauce. Look at this Captain America. Well, it looks like he has kind of an erection over there too. It's like a little bulge. But you see the
great
leg muscle.
Cartoony stylization of the face.
Of Blair? And I think Blair has a cape too. I do like the plaid shirt. I remember him having a plaid shirt.
Yeah, it's like a very David Mazzucchelli treatment of the shirt there.
Yep. Captain America. Yeah, and he's being punched out of frame.
Yeah, there's some bad cropping.
Okay, one more picture. One more picture. This before I get back to drawing. I've been procrastinating. In my mind, I'm trying to figure out a pose. A zealot pose. Okay, this one.
Wow, there's Yojimbo said there's an artist at Extreme that was drawing the bulges too big, and he was told to stop.
Well, those guys also, they would draw like nipples in women, on the women characters. So this was on Kirihiko's Instagram. So anybody on stream in this picture? I don't think lumberjack flannel shirts were ever in style, but okay, we'll go for it. I'll go along with that. This was from, I think, San Diego Comic-Con. It looks like it's from the Marriott Marina. There's Jim on the balcony. And I think this was a meeting of, like, all of his Twitch guys. Right? So, anybody want to cop, say that you're in this picture? I don't know who's this guy right here in the foreground. Sean, are you in this picture?
I am not.
Is Crispy Papa in any of this? Or Crispy Egg Roll? Crispy Egg Roll's in the front, right here. This dude in the green, or in the blue. I think this is San Diego Comic-Con because that's the marina, Marriott Marina in the background, and that's the port of San Diego. WonderCon is in Anaheim. There's no water, so that's Crispy Egg Roll right there in the green. Oh, with the glasses. That's Crispy Egg Roll and the glasses right here, in the blue. In the green. Who's saying green and glasses? Steve.
Oh.
Steve's not in this.
Okay.
I wonder who's the guy. This guy right here with the sunglasses and the peace sign. He just completely covered this other guy's face. If I was this other guy behind him, I'd be like, "Yo, this is my one opportunity to have a picture with Jim Lee, and you fucking covered my face, dude. What's up?" There was plenty of room over here to this guy, to his right. There's plenty of room for him to stand over there, but he was trying to make it seem like he's closer to Jim. Crispy's the one without the... okay, so that's Crispy here in the green, in the foreground, at the bottom. I think he was in a couple of other ones. Poop Kid's the one in the blue. Steve, how come you weren't in this one? Because Steve was probably in the Rob Liefeld suite. I see. Steve rolls with the Extreme Studio, guys. It's okay. It's okay. Anybody else? No one else? Who's this guy with the peace sign? That's what I want to know. I'm gonna avoid him if I ever recognize him and I'm taking pictures, because he's just gonna step right in front of you. I mean, that guy in the blue, I feel bad for him, right?
Dude, you gotta get this drawing going.
Okay, let's get rid of this. All right, let's get back. Zealot. Pull up some reference again. Zealot. The most iconic Zealot pose is that Jim Lee one where she's holding the knife in front of her, right, like this, and her hips like... I just tweaked my back. All right.
She has those like blades coming out of her back sometimes.
Yeah, like the boomerang blades. That's what Okay. Was that supposed to be like an Indian kind of reference? Alright, I'm gonna have to go since we're already at the 1 hour mark. I'm gonna go with the tried and true pose. Everybody's gotta get back to whatever they're doing. Sean, are you almost done with your magic?
I'm inking it. I'll send it over to you
You're
soon.
inking it? Holy shit, come on.
Well, I always ink stuff. I mean, my pencils are unreadable.
Come on. Was Zealot a human? Or is she an alien? Crispy, welcome to the stream. Crispy 2, Crispy Papa. I thought... Oh, my chat thing hadn't scrolled down, so sorry about that. Sean probably done 2 sketches already. Yeah, Sean's trying to show me up. Alright. What kind of a character was Zealot?
She was a zealot.
Was she like she had like a lot of attitude? Was she angry? Was she peaceful? Was she like a warrior? What was... I have no idea. Oh, there was the other one. What was the other one that had the long hair and the furry boots? Which character was that? She was also in the Wildcats, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Um, yeah, she had a lot of bangles on her and stuff. Purple.
Like a gold purple outfit. Yeah, like almost like a Laker fan. Steve would know. Steve. Who was the character in Wildcats that had the furry boots? Wasn't she like a stripper? Oh, and then there's Gen 13. I guess you can include that in DC. But Gen 13 is more J. Scott Campbell, right? Or did Jim draw... I will draw the arm and forearm in the foreground.
Man, I love me some Travis Charest. He drew all those guys.
Is that how you pronounce his last name?
I guess it's French, so it's Charest.
Is he French?
He's Canadian, so I guess
Oh,
it's Canadian French.
French Canadian. Is he? I thought... for the longest time, I thought Olivier Copier was... Because didn't he used to live in Montreal? But now he's in Portugal. But Olivier, is he French too? Or is he Portuguese? Does anybody know? Yeah, Danger Girl. But is Danger Girl part of DC? Or was that just Scott? J. Scott Campbell. Move this.
Danger Girl, there was 3 girls, right? One was the tech one, and one was the... And then one of them's got to be a hoe, right?
I just remember that first issue was pretty good, where they was that car chase to start out an issue. Car chases are some of the most difficult things to draw.
And they don't really work in comics.
Danger Girl was a Charlie's Angels knockoff. Yeah, I could say that it had a lot of. It was like a combination of Charlie's Angels, and then the main. There was like a guy in there that was kind of like a James Bond character, right? If I'm correct. How does her? She had like these. Zealot has these major shoulder pads. Of course, it's a comic from the '90s. Gotta have big shoulder pads. Have you ever noticed that comic book artists' fashion sensibilities is always like maybe a decade behind? That's the one thing I remember reading when I was reading comics was I'd be like, man, everyone's wearing jeans and t-shirts, but not in a cool way, like in like a very uncool 70s kind of way. Fashion was never really.
I think it works better in comics. I mean, the older fashion is better for cartoon.
Well, what were the Danger Girls? Were they teenagers or no?
It's in one named Fairchild.
Fairchild was the main. No, that's Gen 13.
Oh, that's in
You're talking about Gen 13. Did Travis Charest ever draw Gen 13? No? How am I going to bring her arm up in this? Ugh.
Make Havoc wants to know whether you created any emotes.
No. How do I do that? Who asked that question?
Make Havoc?
Make Havoc, Steve? You want to create some emotes for me? How do you do that? I guess you can you do that in Photoshop, right? Or whatever. Actually, Ilyana Rasputin, very similar design to Zealot.
Yes, very much so. We
Right?
have a theme here.
Wow, did you
boomerangs in her hair.
Did you consciously think about that?
I think it'd be funny if early on in the stream I ask you who you're gonna draw,
Yeah.
and then while you're chatting, I'm gonna start drawing, and then when you ask me what I'm drawing, I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna get mine done first and show it, and then just to kind of show you up in like a very passive aggressive competitive way.
But you're gonna draw the same one? I don't get it. So you're gonna draw the same, well, but the former Magic didn't have those things in her hair. So that's the newer version. Is that the one that you're drawing?
Yeah, the one with the giant greatsword and then the boomerangs in her hair.
Oh, that's the recent one. I'm trying to figure out how to get her arm in here.
And these used to be headshots. Now you're giving the people like the bust all the way down to the waist.
Yeah. Yoji's like, Yoji's got like how many slices now? On other news, I found there's a new ice cream shop that opened near me today. This might work.
It's got to work. You can't start. You cannot start over again.
What if the stream goes on for like the other stream was like 3 hours. Does she ever use those boomerangs as weapons or no? Just swords.
This costume design is so impractical, but it look cool.
Yeah. I might give up on this forearm.
Oh man, you gotta save the face at least.
Yeah, I'm gonna save the face. Sean, have you finished a whole page yet already?
Pretty soon.
I kind of want to bring her arms back, but I already did that pose with the Wonder Woman.
Oh,
You know?
I think you're overthinking this. So she has used those back boomerangs
Yeah.
once.
I thought I remember seeing that. You can usually hide a lot of it. If you have the forearm in the foreground, you can usually hide the perspective. But what I'm having a difficulty is figuring out where the sword would go. And because she has these back things, if her sword is in front and it's going back, she could be slicing that stuff off. Right? I mean, her mobility is really limited because of the...
Imagine if one of the missions, they cut this chain link fence and everyone has to go through.
Yeah, she'd be stuck. It'd be like, oh, her head would go through, but then like her back would be like, oh. Yeah, not too happy with this. I might have to draw on the back. Maybe this is a two-stream sketch. You want to stream again tomorrow? Did you tell Crispy Papa we were not going to stream tomorrow? Yeah, see, I like this arms back thing. Kind of got that going. But really, to make that effective, I'd have to pull back even wider.
Yeah, this is the hardest part. Like once you get it going, it's gonna be smooth sailing.
Once you lock in the pose, I think, yeah. Once you lock in the pose, then and because of these back things, I was going to draw one like half broken off. I think I'd do a whole battle damage. Maybe one of the shoulder things will be broken. What if one of
Kazuda
them?
wants to know what we think about Kim Jong Gi.
Kim Jong-gi is a genius.
Yeah, I after seeing his stuff, and I never met the guy, but I mean, before I met him, I was looking at his stuff, and I was like, this guy has got to be like, I didn't want to say, but kind of on the spectrum, like I think there's the term idiot savant. So when I saw him at a show, I got him real close to see like, could this guy be kind of like a little bit of a savant? He's a perfectly normal guy. Just made me angry because I kind of wish that there was like a reason for why he can draw so well.
Well, I think he's able to see things and visualize it. There's a particular talent or skill set involved in that. You can mimic it in a show, but I think he has such a library of images in his head already. He's able to visualize the drawing. Basically, he's just tracing it out. Um, Whereas right now, I'm having difficulty figuring out
And
just
another
the
thing about
pose.
Kim Jong Gi is like it's very easy to focus on his draftsmanship, like his amazing ability to recall stuff out of his head. But not many people notice that he has also like this incredible style and a unique view of the world. So a lot of the characters are very creative, like these pigs and helmets and weird things that like naked girls with robot parts. Like it's also cool what he draws, not just how he draws it.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to memorize all those different things, designing cars, designing motorcycles, all the stuff that he's drawing, robots, um, basically out of his head, live. It's immensely difficult. You really have to have either absorbed and stored that in your memory. You'd have to have stored some kind of um, portion of that design in your memory to even come up with a different, let's say, his motorcycle or a spaceship. Like Sean, you're very familiar with motorcycles, right?
Yeah,
So if you
that's my thing. So
and because you used to ride, did you race? You used to race.
yeah, the race kind of doing dumb things in the streets.
But you're familiar with the mechanics of a motorcycle, and
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's kind of like the way I have trouble drawing shoes, but since you're so into shoes, you draw them really well. So whatever you're really into, you can draw better than most
yeah.
people.
So I think and Kim Jung Ji is. I mean, he seems to have this. Where you would say some people have photographic memory, right? And so I think he probably has some form of like a photographic memory.
Photographic memory doesn't really mean that, but he has a certain type of like a visual recall it's unreal.
Yeah.
And he's a really nice guy too. On top of that, like he could have like a completely like you look at his work, he can be like a very scary person based on his work, and he could be a jerk because he's so good, but he's really nice and he has a great kind of like a visual design sense, and then also just incredibly talented. Um, but yeah, that's great. Like you can hire him out for these big events and just give him a big piece of white paper, and you can just entertain a crowd.
But
Um,
his magic is in live drawing,
yeah,
right? I feel
yeah,
like,
it's great to make a show. I know, like we struggle to make a show out of our drawing, and I think Travis Charest struggled with this too. Like he never wanted to have his drawing kind of filmed because it's just really slow and boring, and you see how much struggle there is. Doesn't have much entertainment value. So to be able to draw at that speed, um, you can just watch a drawing bloom and cover from one side of the page to the other, and then you can be fascinated by it. And that's a great way to make a show out of your drawing rather than just having the end result be the final thing.
drawing and talking. Does he talk? Have you ever seen his live performances? Does he talk during it, or is he just quiet? Mr. Joshua's
He does talk.
Mr. Joshua's dream bike is a CBR 1100. What is that?
Oh, that's a very nice bike. Um, Yeah, that's a
are you gonna spill some pizza sauce on your drawing now?
that's about as big. That's as big as an engine can get in a motorcycle.
Yeah. I might have to ink this one today because there's so much.
There's a little out of focus.
Oh, it is. The autofocus is off. Maybe it's not enough light.
Yeah, but yeah, Dan Fragger can kind of do that Kim Jong Gi thing also. It's kind of impressive.
He does talk during his drawings. All right.
This one thing I really liked about watching artists on stream, and it's just that you get to see the artist struggle. I mean, we see the final product. I, we're talking about Jim Lee and how he's the greatest of all time. I didn't think that there would be any struggle because he's like at the apex of this whole industry. But to see him start over, I've seen him start over like 6 times before, and in the beginning, there's a lot of fits and starts, and then there's always experimenting. Put the arm up here, put the playing card in the hands. Like no, not a like playing card knife. And I think it's great that he's not afraid to show that it's a struggle, and every drawing teeters on the brink of failure until you get past a certain point.
That's why there's an eraser.
Yeah, I was watching the David Finch YouTube when he's drawing, and then he'll admit outright that all the problems he has, and like just basically admits that he spends a lot of time covering up your weak spots, and that becomes your style.
I kind of like this pose.
There you go.
Sometimes you gotta drive. You just gotta drive around. Sometimes you just gotta drive around the neighborhood a little bit until you figure out something. I think I was a little too ambitious with the other pose, too action oriented. Sometimes it's very difficult to draw and talk, to think. You need to have a clear mind. And especially with a character with all this specific armor that I'm not familiar with, that I don't think I've ever drawn Zealot before. So
Yeah, it's important at this stage. Make all your mistakes early on because you'll commit to a bad pose. Just like putting makeup on a pig. Um, so yeah, it's the foundation is the most important part. So yeah, get that right, and then it's smooth sailing after that.
I think what I liked about the other pose was her mouth. Like she's saying like shh, like she's saying a bad word. Do you guys have any other suggestions for art streams?
Yeah, like do you guys really get into the process talk? I mean, because we can talk about how drawing comes together, but we don't really know if you guys are drawing types. Kazuto asks if we think Jim Lee's secret is his technique or his way of telling stories.
You mean technique or way of telling stories?
Well, I guess his storytelling or his draftsmanship.
Jim actually works, he lays out his page on the board itself. So I think his style is a lot of what attracts people. Everybody has different methods too in terms of storytelling.
I know you're more of from the storytelling camp. Like you think that storytelling is more important than the drawing. And you once said that you can teach anyone to draw, but you can't teach them how to tell a story, which I found really shocking because I spent my life just trying to learn to draw. And the storytelling is just you kind of just draw. It's kind of common sense. I thought.
Well, there's a unique storytelling sensibility, right? How you're going to set something up, that's your own storyteller's voice. You can teach someone techniques. Drawing a circle, you draw a circle, if you draw a line in the middle, you draw another line, right? That becomes like a head. But how you tell a story, that has to be personal. I mean, there are formulas, right? You have to have an establishing shot. Maybe you have a money shot somewhere. Tempo pacing, but all that is unique based on storyteller, based on how you want to tell the story. If we give you the same, if everybody here got the same story, and even if we just say, all right, read this story, but if you're going to read it to tell it to like a kid, depending on who you are, you might read it differently. You might emphasize different aspects. So I think that's what I meant in terms of telling a story is very personal. I feel like you can teach anybody how to draw. It's the storytelling that makes a lot of artists different. I mean, the drawing itself, we can see differences right away, right? Differences in style. But how you tell the story really is the mastery of the craft.
I remember hearing an interview with Olivier Coipel. He used to work in animation, so there's a lot of like his drawing was really good. And then I think he got his first job. Was it a Marvel or DC? Then he started drawing. He had to put the stuff in the panels, and he thought like he really had a hard time with that. Like just having to put your drawing inside and compose it in a little rectangle. 5 times on a page. It took him a long time. I mean, he's so good at it now. Just very creative layouts. Like I love the way he lays things out. But in the beginning, it's like to draw a bounding box around something you drew. It takes a while to wrap your head around that concept.
I think I remember seeing Olivier stuff. He was shopping it around at San Diego one year. And this was probably in the late 90s. When did he start? Do you remember?
I remember there was some sort of lottery system where you can do a portfolio review, and he didn't get in or something, so he was like really depressed. But then he had a chance meeting with a portfolio reviewer who looked at his stuff, and the rest is history. But he almost didn't get to show his stuff.
Yeah, and I remember like I was with John Paul Leon, and I think he came by, and I took a look at his stuff. He showed us his portfolio, and I was like, man, this guy, if I had money, if he was like a, if he was selling stock, I would buy. I remember looking at his work and thinking, this guy's going to be a superstar. And there are just sometimes people that you can look at their work and you can tell they got the goods. There might be some refinement needed, but it's he has all the tools, and then refinement just comes with experience. I think Sean and I were very lucky. We were able to kind of jump in at the right time and kind of learn on the job. All the companies were looking to hire young guys they could mold, get for cheap, but mold into whatever company each company was looking for. And see, now I'm running out of room for the hand here.
Whoa, you're going way down, even below her waist.
Yeah, because this character is like, because of the sword based. Can her arm be like cut off? Does she grow back her arm? Well, that'd be cool. Like her arm was cut off. Might have to take an L today.
Yeah, I think Yojimbo said it was earlier. It was easy to get hired back in the 90s. I'll admit that I got in when companies really needed to hire people. So I got in before I was ready, and then I learned a lot on the job.
I think a lot of people got in before they were ready. But that's the thing. I mean, you look at the NBA. Most of the players that are drafted, especially out of college, they're drafted for potential. They're not drafted because they're going to instantly become the MVP the following season when they start playing. They're drafted because they have the potential that in a few years they could be the MVP. So with art, it's the same thing. With these companies, a lot of guys that start, a lot of artists that start, a lot of writers that start, their first work might not be the best, but there's something about potential that the companies are banking on. They're hiring you at a lower rate, be moldable, workable. So, yeah, I wouldn't.
What's funny is I went to Barry Windsor Smith's after he left the company. I went to go visit him in his house,
Yeah.
and he says, I was in those meetings with the heads of Valiant, and there was a discussion. I mean, we kind of knew this discussion happened, but they were saying that you got to lock in these kids now while they're cheap, get them on long-term contracts before they get poached, and then we can't afford them anymore. So let's lock them in now. And he was telling us about that conversation they were having about how it was you and me, and I mean they included colorists and editors too, just to lock us in on these long-term contracts. So, and he thought that was kind of really, it left a bad taste in his mouth. But I understand it. That's what companies do. I mean, it's just smart for as a company to do that.
Yeah.
I remember I think you thought this was really strange, but you had your own lawyer, and I had the group lawyer that was appointed by the company to negotiate on our behalf, and the other people in my group were colorists and assistant editors, and I was in there too. And then you came with your own editor, and thinking back, like what a dumb idea that I would just use the lawyer. It's like, well, you don't know any lawyers because you're a kid or whatever. I'll give you this lawyer, and it was like a friend of Steve Masarsky's.
Yeah, it was his own friend. I mean, that's how shrewd of a businessman Steve Masarsky was. He, I think it was towards the end of that year that they offered everybody a contract, right? Exclusive. Was it 3 or 4 year contract.
Yeah, mine was 4 years.
4 year contract, right? Exclusive 4 year contract. And at the time, I was thinking, all right, well, look, I got 3 more years of school left, so really, it's a 1 year contract because while I'm in school, I'm not really going to be able to work for anybody else, right? Just because of my workload. So, um, and then I'll have 1 year while after I graduate to really kind of strut my stuff. 3 years I'm going to be in school, and then 1 year out of school to really kind of showcase. And then Steve was like, "Yeah, well, I know you guys don't have attorneys, but here's the business card of a lawyer that you can use, and you can consult with him." And then all of you guys went with him. And I think I said to the lawyer, like, I want to get the highest paid rate out of everyone. So whatever the highest rate anybody had, I want to get like at least like $5 more. I mean, the rates back then were like super cheap, right? I think my first paid rate at Valiant when I started was like $60. $60 a page. Or 65, it might have been. And then it moved up to like 75, and then it moved up to like 125. Do you remember your rate by the time you left Valiant, Sean?
I think it was around 100 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. We weren't really hanging out at the time by then, were we? When they were offering the contract?
Yeah. I don't remember. It was all kind of a blur, but
The other thing that I asked for was one paid, all expenses paid trip to San Diego.
Oh yeah.
Every year.
That's right.
So, I said I need to have one all expenses paid trip to San Diego every year. Hotel, airfare, food. Because I understood that San Diego was the largest show. Any other show that they wanted me to go to, fine. If they pay for it, I'll go. But the company had to bring me to San Diego every year. Just can't figure out her left arm. Maybe this piece of paper is cursed.
Things looks great.
I just erased half of her body.
Oh man. Wow, $25 a page.
Who got paid $25 a page?
Are you talking about Stephen Platt then?
Well, yeah, so I think it was like $2,600 a book. Came out to. I remember something like that. $2,600 a book. An issue. We couldn't draw. We weren't drawing. Were you drawing 12 issues a year?
No way.
I think it was like around like 10 or 11. 10 or 11 issues a year.
And then that's where we met Dan Jurgens, and then we worked with him a lot since then.
Yeah. That's when they brought Dan in for Birthquake. It's a classic mistake. I'm getting too buried into the details of this drawing without having fixed the fundamental problem of where her freaking arm is going to go. Right now, that Thor drawing is looking pretty good. You know, I should have drawn that. I think that's what I'll do next time. Is to take that Thor drawing and then draw that how I would draw it now. Compare, contrast. 30 years of difference.
Do you remember two distinct styles with Stephen Platt? I mean, according to Rob Liefeld, he used to be like a Rob Liefeld guy, like really big, and kind of like that Rob Liefeld look. And then at some point, he did his Joe Madureira thing, and he did them both very well.
I think his style now is a combination of both, right? Where he's like heavy line detail, like Rob Liefeld hatching, but a different kind of refined hatching. Um, and you're saying like he looks like Travis now?
Uh, I remember like when he started out, he did look like Rob Liefeld, and then later on, he was doing some sort of Joe Mad thing,
Yeah.
and
Oh, Joe Mad.
I think Rob Liefeld did not like the fact he was kind of. He thought if he stayed in that Liefeld thing, he would have made a lot of money.
I think everybody was influenced by Joe Mad. When Joe Madureira um, came onto the scene, that was like mid to late '90s, and he really brought a fusion of anime, manga, combined with superhero comics. Um, what was the movie? Ninja Scroll. I think Ninja Scroll had just come out, so you could see the heavy anime influence in his work. There's also the double line thickness on the outside holding line, and the thinner detail lines in the middle inside. Um, that really gave it a very graphic feel. What do you think of Joe Mad, Sean? Were you a fan of his
Yeah,
work?
yeah, the Soul Saga stuff where it kind of looks like Joe Mad. Yeah, I think that stuff is great. He's a great cartoonist. I think he does video games now, right?
Something. Wasn't he? Didn't they announce a project with him recently, or a comics project? Or was he going to relaunch? Was he going to relaunch Battle Chasers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's up with these artists and these unfinished projects?
I'm getting nowhere with this pose.
Man, they used to be simple headshots, you know. They, like you raised the bar on yourself.
The problem right now is that I'm not really seeing it. I'm seeing it, but I'm not really committing to it, and just unfocused. So
Yeah, I guess this is like driving. I think eventually you'll be able to draw on stream um, all the time without any problems. But I think your brain has to kind of, it takes time to wrap your head around it. And then it has to kind of grow to be able to do those two things at once. So it's like, you know, how in the beginning when you drive, it's a little bit shaky. But then after a while, I mean, you get much better at it. So
yeah, usually like if let's say we're drawing a book, right? We're drawing a page or something. This is probably like the layout stage. And then typically during the layout stage, I don't talk to anybody at all. It's actually very quiet because I need my brain to think. It's when I'm rendering, right? After I've come up with the layout already, that's where I can be a little bit more liberal with my time, my brain.
Turn the TV on, listen to podcasts.
But this stage where you're kind of concepting, basically coming up with stuff, what it is, this requires the most focus and attention. A headshot is easy because is easier because it's just a headshot. Now I'm thinking about how does the body look, how does the pose, even the pose that I want, but are the proportions correct? So there's a lot more factors involved. I've noticed that on some people's stream, you go on and the drawing's already, this part is already finished, and then they're just going in and rendering it. And
they
it's
do
like,
it off stream.
Right, they do it off stream.
All the hard part is off stream. Well, I guess that's what I was brought in here to do, right? Is to entertain when you have to think. Well,
come on, Sean.
I'm really kind of failing at that. So you're saying that Stephen Platt had a falling out with Liefeld?
Who said that? Steve would know. Havoc? Make Havoc?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so he won't draw Prophet anymore because it's a Liefeld character.
Oh.
I heard Stephen Platt can be kind of prickly. I mean, he doesn't get along with everyone, but he mostly does movie is it concept art or storyboards?
Concept design, storyboards, yeah. Steve's always been cool to me. We met a few times. We chatted out here in LA, even when we were drawing comics.
I heard that, Extreme Studios, I think they had a lot of money, so Rob had to put him in a separate room, in a separate studio.
Are you reading this or are you saying this?
No, this is what I heard from Rob Liefeld.
Oh.
So Rob said that the reason he had to put him in a separate studio because, quote unquote, he wasn't shy about telling you about how bad your art was.
Oh, who, Steve?
Yeah.
We're telling the other artists how bad their art was?
Yeah, so eventually I had to move him to another studio. I mean, it's the price of genius, right?
Well, we used to do that in private.
Oh, I mean, some people remember, like, there's that Russian guy. We would tell him to his face how bad he was. What was his name again?
Oh, it was like Lenny.
Who was
or
that
something.
guy?
Wasn't it like Lenny?
Leon or something like that.
Leon? Well, you guys used to pick on him. Did I pick on him?
Until, then Gray told us that to stop because it was just unbecoming of a mentor. Like, we should be his mentor and not just trashing him all the time.
I remember
Leo,
I showed up.
I think. Leo.
I remember I showed up one summer, and then he was there. And I think he was sitting at my desk.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, what? That's my desk, man." But he was like a lucky go. Oh, didn't you bump into him recently, or no?
At a convention.
That's right.
He's pretty talented. He does like a lot of oil paintings with like Joe Jusko stuff.
Leo, I saw him in Calgary Comic-Con a few years ago when I went. Yes. Nice guy. I mean, he's a really nice guy. He was always like smiling and laughing.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't make fun of him unless we knew he could take it, and we were just having fun.
Sometimes it's just better to erase the whole thing,
Oh,
and
dang.
not be
Oh,
beholden to
man.
any particular pose. 2 hours
Oh,
in.
that hurts.
Yeah.
You know, my drawing goes to the same problems as yours,
Is yours
but
colored already? You probably colored yours.
it's just that I don't think I have the same high standards as you. I just like, it looks like the person, but so.
Crispy Papa Leo was not the BO guy. The BO guy was another guy. I used to make fun of the BO guy. I have since apologized to him for my youthful antics. He did stand up for me once, though, the BO guy.
Oh, yeah, against, was it Robin?
Yeah, he almost got, I think he almost got fired for that.
Yeah.
Alright,
Well,
I'm going to change
that
the
drawing is
attitude
gone.
of Zealot. I'm going to make this a more solemn, less action.
Oh, that really hurt.
Well, I hope we've at least entertained you guys this last 2 hours. Sean, you want to show your drawing?
Well, now I'm all kind of self-conscious because I think this one should have been erased a long time ago, but I understand the value of actually having something to show at the end, so I didn't erase it.
I
But
mean, that's
yeah,
the
I'm gonna
thing
send it to
is,
you pretty soon.
I used to do like free sketches at shows, at signings, and at some store signings I would do like free sketches, and then some of them there would be like a couple different times, a couple different incidents happened. One time, or one instance was because there's so many people. Both of them were because there's so many people, or also because it's a free sketch. You're not really like focusing on, you know, on it. You're just trying to get as many drawings done because you have all these people waiting in line, and they've been waiting for maybe like an hour or so, or more. So you're just trying to get people through. And just basically doodle like the same headshot over and over again. And that head sketch becomes scribbles, right? And so 2 times that really kind of stand out is eventually like somebody posted their sketch, and I mean I think they were happy about it. They're like, oh, I got an original sketch from Bernard, but then I saw it online and I was like, wow, that's a horrible drawing, and that drawing is going to be online forever, and then people don't really know that I'm just like trying to give a free just give a free sketch to everybody in line, and really just trying to accommodate everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think I'd rather just do fewer drawings, and make sure that every drawing that I do produce is of quality, because it represents who you are online. So it's not so much. I'm not because you're representing your work. If they're going to post it online, it's not that you're giving them a souvenir. You're giving them like an autograph or memento from the event. But because it's being posted online, and other people are looking at that. It can kind of affect.
Yeah, I think you're gonna lose a job because people are gonna see this Thor that you did from 8th grade, not knowing the
That's
context
well,
of
that's
it.
8th grade. I think we can get away with the 8th grade piece, right? I don't know. Maybe not. And then the other time was I remember I did the signing in the Inland Empire somewhere here in just east of LA, and again it was a massive line. I think it was like New Comic Book Day or something, and I'm just trying to give everybody that's waiting in line a sketch, a free drawing. So it's just like a tiny, tiny head sketch. But then like this one kid like complained, and I forgot what the complaint was. It was he wrote something like he wrote something. I read something online that he was that he had to wait X amount of time, and that the drawing was horrible, or something like that. So I thought, well, I'm like giving you a free sketch, but then to change that, say, well, again, the quality of the artwork isn't representational of the. If it's not representational of who I am, then I shouldn't, even if it's a free one, shouldn't give it away. So those two events.
Isn't that why you also stopped drinking during these signings? Remember, you used to get really, really drunk and just to make it through a 2-hour signing, and then
That's when we went on. We went on a Deathmate tour. Sean and I, when we were, was that '94?
I don't know.
Yoji would know. When was Deathmate? Deathmate was the Valiant Image crossover. The first appearance of Gen 13 was Deathmate Black. And that summer, we did a cross-promotional tour where we had the Black Crows tour bus, right? Was it the Black Crows? Or Black Keys?
Yeah, is it the Black Crows tour bus? And they have these like black glass tables on the inside, so they can chop up your coke and snort it.
And they would have a. And that summer, I turned 21. So we would basically we started the tour at Universal City Walk here in LA, where we had like, I think there was a guesstimate of at least 2,000 people in line. Right. Back in the heyday of comics, and that signing was massive. Jim Lee, who else was there? Well, you just have to say Jim Lee, right? That's enough people already.
Is it Brett Booth and
Brett Booth, J. Scott
Alex
Campbell,
Gardner?
Greg Capullo was on our bus.
Yeah, Greg Capullo.
Brett Booth.
And the thing was, we would do like multiple signings after riding on the bus, and toward the end, after a couple of days, it got really tough. And I remember you were like drinking just to get, just because it was tough to do. You wouldn't think it'd be tough to just sign maybe 3 periods a day, but it was a chore.
Plus, there was all this free beer on the bus. I was like, if we're gonna ride in a Rockstar bus, maybe we should like live the Rockstar life. But I don't think I was I wasn't like belligerently drunk, was I? I don't know.
No. It never got that bad. Like all of us were well behaved.
It was just like one beer per. So basically, you start there's like 3 signings a day, right? You drive out to one store. Get out, sign for a couple hours, get in the bus, drive to another place, get out, sign. Didn't we say we're going to draw Storm today? There we go, look. Voila. Yeah, and who was and it wasn't just me. I remember who's the tour manager, the guy that the handler.
Yeah, he was.
He was like
he
a
was
reformed.
a rock and roll. He was a road manager, a real guy.
And he was he was like a reformed alcoholic.
Yeah,
but
so he couldn't drink at all.
But by the time we got to San Diego, I think he was drinking again. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was toward the end.
just gonna do a headshot.
Awesome. Okay. Oh, you'd probably be embarrassed to hear. I'm gonna embarrass you now. Like back then, during the Death May tour, your drink of choice, I think, was a Zima.
Zima, yes.
And you love that stuff. I think it's kind of a joke now. People consider it like a girl drink.
Yeah, it was a girl drink. It was even a girl drink back then. I'll admit it. I mean, again, I didn't drink. I drank once in high school. I got drunk once in high school. That ended up me staying over at John Paul Leon's house, and then the next day finding out that we both entered the same art contest in 5th grade. That he won first place, I won second place. I'd always wondered who beat me. But that was the only time in high school that I ever drank. And then college, I never drank. Oh no, I drank once. Well, I went to maybe 1 or 2 frat parties. But I was never a big drinker until I started drawing comics.
I recall a couple of hostess clubs.
Well, because also there were hostess clubs at K-Town in Manhattan. That was very interesting. But that's also because you wouldn't drink, man. They had a whole bottle we had to drink.
Yeah, I mean,
You paid for a whole fucking bottle. You didn't want to drink.
Yeah, it was my fault.
I was completely fucked up that night.
I had to make sure you get home okay.
That was a crazy night. Anyways, if you guys have ever been to Koreatown in New York City on 33rd Street in Manhattan, we used to go there and eat. Right? Sometimes after work, we'd go there and eat. And you notice on the street, there'd be all these private cabs. These dudes, these Korean dudes. Like, hey, you want to go anywhere? You want to go anywhere? And we're like, we're just going to take the subway. Eventually, we figured out that they were going to take you to, like, nightclubs. So, I said, well, look, let's just go to like a hostess. I think was it that we watched the movie or something that we figured out that there's these things as hostess clubs, where these girls would sit down and pour drinks.
I don't think I went to that with you. Are you talking about someone else?
Right. So the only way to communicate, because we didn't speak any Korean, was to do drawings. To communicate through drawing. What were we talking about before that? Were we still on San Diego?
Was it the Death May tour?
Death May tour.
Boy.
All right. I think we've resorted back to a headshot. This one looks pretty confident with this headshot here. Can you see this, Sean? What do you think? The neck is kind of long. The torso is kind of long. Got to figure it out. Shorten this up.
Wow, that's a long neck. That's kind of cool. That muscle that goes from the back of your ear all the way down to the bottom of the neck and makes a V shape.
Yeah.
It's called the sternocleidomastoid. If you had to parse that name, it refers to all the insertion points. Sterno means sternum, the top of the sternum. Clado is the clavicle, which comes out of the sternum, and then mastoid is, I guess, that the jaw or like behind the ears. So it's basically the 3 points that connect it. It makes a V, and then that space in between the bottom of the V, that little divot,
Yeah.
is called the suprasternal notch. If you parse that, supra means above, sternal means sternum, and the notch is the shape of the cavity.
Sean, you just put half of the audience to sleep with that.
Little anatomy lesson. But it helps if you learn these names. Then when you're drawing it, it helps you look for these muscle and bony landmarks, and you draw it in there. Otherwise, if you don't really know they exist, you might not know what to draw. And their neck becomes like a cylinder.
All right, let's fill in the details. I think we've lost a bunch of people already. Look at that, Kevin P. West is already asleep. Do we have such thing as a night bot? You know, like an automated.
Yeah, we need a night bot. The thing that tells you to hydrate.
We should have been 2 hours. I haven't even.
Yeah, this looks like a winner. Okay.
All right. Her expression is kind of bland.
It's okay.
Make her a little upset. I think I'll give her like a little blood.
And then you're gonna go for the traditional Bernard Chang battle damage.
Yes, yeah, I'm gonna make like a couple of these boomerang things broken, so that she's been in a fight.
So when you take that eraser and you wipe it all over to crisscross all over your careful pencil drawing, to you, what does that represent? Just kind of like a patina or a texture, or it's like a blizzard or a windstorm?
Like a texture, and then just like dust or wind. Like, you know, Jim Lee goes in with the splatter, with the white out, and then the splatter technique. You know, Jump Hall does that.
Oh yeah, I think Jim kind of is afraid he might be overusing that. Yeah, he brings out the credit card and then floods it with that magic white, and then just flicks it on.
Yeah, sometimes I use it. It doesn't really match. Doesn't fit the drawing. But oh well. Kind of like a calling card.
All right, I sent you the magic drawing that
You want me to
we're
put
going
it
to
up?
give away to these very patient people.
You want me to put it up?
Yeah, I mean, don't stop your drawing.
Oh.
If you're,
You just told me
otherwise,
you sent it to
don't
me.
cool down. Yeah, I send it to you, but I mean, if you're in a flow, then by all means keep drawing. Oh, Barry's off the bed. Barry, if you hang out like maybe 1 minute, I think Bernard might put it up. But you're out of the running for winning it, though.
I'm hooking Barry up with something else.
Oh, cool. Hey, look at that. Crispy Papa said Ryan Benjamin used the same card splatter technique.
Yeah. Well, Ryan started with in Jim Lee's Wildstorm.
Yeah, sometimes I see a Ryan Benjamin drawing, and I think it's Jim Lee. But, so. Oh no, Barry's gonna hang out for longer. I think. Really, I mean,
I'm gonna give him another Thor.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
Give him. Just trace your old Thor drawing.
Does she have pupils? Or does her pupils go away? Also, you know what? I've been drawing with the Stadler today. That's also why I think. I used to drawing with the Stadler that much.
She doesn't have pupils. Yeah, I've noticed I'm not sure if you noticed this, but sometimes I'm struggling with a draw. I'm really struggling. Everything's coming out way slower, and these pages, I'm gonna be late on this book. And I realized like I started drawing this book in the wintertime, and now it's summertime, and it's really humid. And what I found out is the lead is too hard uh, for the summertime because of the humidity. Then I changed the lead, and everything was better. But it took me a while to figure that out.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Well, I've noticed the paper also.
Yeah, it's
Because of,
mainly the paper. The paper absorbs water, and then the pencil becomes like drawing with a nail.
yeah, it absorbs sweat, moisture from your skin, but also the water from the air, moisture from the air.
Yeah, I remember drawing in a hotel room in a tropical place, and I brought my winter lead instead. Um, so I was having so much problems drawing that I took a hair dryer and dried out the paper and would work on it for a couple hours, and every couple hours I had to use a hair dryer to dry the paper.
So you're saying you got to use a softer lead in the summer, or in humidity.
Yeah, I think most artists do. I mean, especially if you draw on bristle board. These days, I draw on a copy paper.
Yeah, you got to show your your process now. It's very different. You're almost piecing it together, right?
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, you don't get to have an original, and it's basically drawing with like a safety net. It's like doing a tight walk with a safety net. I'm trying to stack the odds in my favor because I used to really struggle with drawing and getting stuff in on time. So I found that you can take the pressure off by drawing on copy paper, one panel at a time, and it's not even one panel at a time. Sometimes I'm drawing the figure, and then I would draw the backgrounds. I would scan in the figure and then draw the background separately and then the speed line separately. So sometimes a panel is made up of like 3 or 4 pieces of paper all composited. But when you combine it all in Photoshop, it looks like a great penciled page, even though if I look at all the pieces together individually, it might be a dozen sheets of paper and really nothing you can sell. Which one of the reasons I don't make a huge amount of money in comics. No original, but I can get the book done on time that way.
You should get your kids to retrace them on Bristol board.
Yeah, I suppose if I ever sell one of the pages, I can just trace it all on Bristol board, and no one will ever know. I mean, technically, that's the original. I mean, there's only one of them. So, well, I feel bad. Barry is staying up for for no good reason.
Blair, go to sleep. It's like 1 o'clock your time, right?
Yeah, and the other thing about drawing on copy paper is that I think it feels like when I'm drawing on Bristol board, the paper is almost like a sponge, and you can dig grooves into the paper. And then when it comes to erasing, you have to erase down into those grooves, and you really tear up the paper. Um, and then if you make a mistake, then that mistake is on that same piece of paper that the rest of the drawing's on. So um, the copy paper, everything is, it's kind of like the way that the Marvel movies are made. Like if you ever see like an action movie, like a Jackie Chan movie, it's like one long shot filmed from a distance, all that crazy action, and each person hits their cue, whatever, and it's like a big choreographed thing, and it's all in one camera shot. But the Marvel movies, like some guy will throw a punch, and then there'll be a cut, and they'll be connecting the punch, and then like everything is cut up because you need to isolate the parts in order to do the computer graphics. And the actor may not only be able to do one motion at a time and get that perfect, so they'll just have like 10 cuts for every fight scene just to throw a punch. And this is the kind of same thing. It's like you separate out all the parts so that anytime something's not working, you can just toss it out and isolate it, and it doesn't affect the rest of it. And yeah, it works for me, but yeah, no originals. That's the thing.
Yeah. a lot of my originals, also the backgrounds, I fill in digitally, um, where I'll draw shapes in Photoshop after I scan in. Um, so the originals don't have it in there. At the end of the day, it's production art, right? The most important thing is to finish on time. Obviously, there's no deadline on this sketch here.
How do you show the drawing I just sent you? Is it if I send it to you by email? Is it really hard?
No, I just have to save it and then, well, airdrop it in.
Yeah, Barry, you're hearing all these secrets. This is, doing comics, drawing is a lot of it's an illusion. It's all smoke and mirrors. We try to make it look very easy, and it's an important part of the business to make it look very easy. But it is not for me. It's not. So there's all these little tips and tricks that we do to make it look easy. And right now we're kind of like spilling the tea on the whole process. So now you know, I am not as good as I appear on the finished product. So yeah, so don't go be don't tell anyone about this because I want my editors to know that I am special and I'm good.
I think when you've been working in this industry, you can also, I can look at someone's work and I can tell if they drew it, or if they used the filter, or if they traced. Can you do that, Sean?
Oh yeah, you can definitely tell.
Because you know
Like, you
that,
can tell.
I mean, you know the amount of work that it takes to go put something in.
Yeah.
You were saying?
Oh, you can tell when someone traces a figure because, I mean, we kind of know as artists what's physically possible to draw, and we kind of stylize the body into a more basic shape because there's just no way to understand how every single muscle insertion, every bony landmark appears under certain lighting situations. It's just too difficult to figure out. So, ironically, if you see someone who can draw the figure really well, chances are they're not a great artist because they traced it. Um, and
Well,
we compete against people who do that. So
yeah. A lot of it is, I think the biggest tell is perspective. There'll be artists that can draw figures fairly competently, fairly well, faces. But then when they go and in the interior work, they start telling that you have to draw buildings, you have to draw cars, you have to draw things in perspective. And for me, if I can tell if someone, if there's a particular skill level, if you're able to draw something at a particular level and particular degree and angle, then your brain should be able to function and see things, and that should be across the board in your work.
oh right, yeah.
But
So
if you
there's
can,
a
yeah,
mismatch in ability.
right. So if you can draw up 3/4 or down 3/4, those are very difficult angles on a face, and it's curved because it's organic. Then you should be able to draw a down 3/4, up 3/4 of a car or a building. And if they can't, if the skill levels don't match up on that, then you can tell that they're probably tracing a lot.
I hate when they use the 3D models of cars, but they don't draw over it to put the lighting or the patina on it and the age and the dents. It just looks like a very clean, right out of production um, car. It's very sterile looking, and buildings too. You can get 3D models of buildings, and sometimes you just kind of import it and leave it as is without putting the bricks on it or anything.
You mean the battle damage?
Yeah. Yeah, there's one of the covers of my comics. The covers are done by cover artists. There's one guy, and I won't say who he is, but he drew this amazing figure of this superhero in spandex, and the anatomy was perfect. I was like, wow, I'm really blown away. But this guy really knows anatomy really well. But then I noticed that the costume, almost like he was in a fight, and then the costume like shifted over like 3 inches to the right or something. Like there was a seam line that goes down the center of the body, but the seam was kind of off, like maybe like 3 inches, and was going down like the middle of his pectorals. I'm like, well, that's really weird. Like he kind of he drew the figure in there, but he forgot where the center line was, and then the costume is just off. And then I just figured out that that's obviously he traced the figure and then didn't even know enough about how to draw the costume on top, that it wasn't centered on the body.
Well, we know one guy that just traces. If it's not pictures, he's tracing other artists. Is this a recent book or is this?
No, it was a long time ago. Um, but yeah, that the guy you're talking about, the guy who does the photograph thing, that it was always a game that we would look at his
Right. You
drawings
try to
and do
figure out.
Google image searches. And sometimes he's so lazy, you don't have to do that far of a Google image search. It would be often be like the first page that you
Right.
would see
Yeah.
the reference.
I mean, if it used to be, he had like a machine that would he would watch movies and then he would freeze frame a scene, TV or movies, and then print out that particular pose that he wanted. Right. I think that's how he did it.
Yeah, I saw there's a problem in like tracing stuff. Like it, you still need to have a design sense, because I remember there was one scene where the guy. It's a very typical thing to have a scene where a guy's pointing a gun at the viewer, and because if you're tracing a photograph, um, the guy was wearing a white shirt and a black tie, and he's holding a gun. But the moment he chose to draw that was the gun position was right in the black area of the tie. So the gun, in a sense, like disappeared into the tie, and you can see a hand that's just kind of making a fist. This stuff happens in real life, because as an artist, you're supposed to choose the right moment and design the scene to be very readable. That's what cartooning is. I mean, we're communicating with our art. This guy was not communicating, because like the photograph he traced from, the gun just happened to be in a movie. I think the gun is in motion, but you freeze frame it at the wrong time. The gun is right in the middle of the tie, so you're wondering like what happened to the gun. It was just like a fail. you know but
But
there's a lot
nobody
of
caught
problems
on.
with.
Nobody caught on. This was a quote unquote award winning artist. He liked to claim that he was an award winning artist. This is what gets me. I think this one irks me a lot. He liked to claim he was an award winning artist in his bio. It would be include award winning artist. He wouldn't list the award that he claims to have won. But we all know that he claimed to have won a Harvey Award. But the thing with the Harvey Award is that he worked on the book that won the Harvey Award. But the Harvey Award that year, nominations were closed at a particular date. And so all the votes were in. So by the time he started drawing the book, the nomination and the votes were already in. It was based on the previous artist of the book. But then because
the previous artists who we're big fans of.
Yeah. So then, by the time the award ceremony came around, it's months later. You're talking about stuff that happened in the beginning of the year. By that time of the Harvey Awards, that was at the end of the year, was when this guy started drawing the book, when his first issue started coming out. But he went to that award ceremony, and when that book won, he got up and he accepted the award. Right? Am I correct on that? I wasn't at that
Well,
ceremony, but that's what I heard.
I don't, I don't know
I
about
mean,
that.
he would have had the audacity to go up and accept the award, but that's the award that he claims to have won. You know, I mean, this is like today. If you got a job and you put on your resume that you want something or that you went to some school and you didn't graduate there or whatever, you'd be fired. And this guy for years perpetrated himself as an award-winning comic book artist.
Okay. All right. You gotta let this go.
And I would bring that up to like quote unquote comics journalists. And I said, you know, maybe you might want to look into this a little bit. I mean, I looked into it. It was available online. It's not a secret. You can just correlate the dates and maybe even ask him personally. But
Okay.
I think he has since won an award for something else afterwards. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's been like, what, 20 years? Not 20 years, maybe like 15.
All right. Barry said he figured out which cover you drew of the New Mutants when you were kids, and it was the special edition, Volume 1, number 1,
The
circa
Arthur Adams,
1985.
right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Art Adams.
Blair, man, you got to go to sleep. Don't listen to Sean. Sean, I wish I could give you control of the Streamlabs. Actually, I could give you the password, and you can log on to the Streamlabs, and you can start setting up the wheel.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that. I don't even know how you know which names to put there.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging in there.
That drawing came together pretty fast. Yes, see, once the structure's in, you can run your mouth and get really pissed off and still pull out a great drawing.
Yeah, that guy's gets me riled up every time.
If you guys stay on the stream long enough, he'll always bring up events between him and this guy. I think you're gonna let stuff slip, and they're gonna be able to put two and two together and find out who it is.
There's only a couple people in my career that I've really disliked. This guy being one of them. And the thing is, this guy and I actually go back. We have history together. Went to the same schools, multiple schools together. Got him his break in comics, but he has no loyalty. What we'd call all for self.
I think this drawing is being fueled by your anger.
Yeah. I'm angry at the other drawings not having, really worked up anything. Finally,
But dang, that was fast.
I mean, headshots are supposed to be fast. That full body shot, I gotta work on it. Hopefully, in the future, coming up, I'll be able to knock that stuff out a little bit faster.
I'm trying to ask Barry if he knows this guy.
Barry doesn't know him. This was high school. Yeah, Barry doesn't know him. So, John Paul and I went to the same high school, but it's not John Paul.
That's John Paul Leon, the amazing one and only John Paul Leon.
I talked to him today, too, about getting a webcam or using his phone, setting up.
That would be great.
Yeah, so trying to get him to come on and then also have him draw, too.
Yeah, that'll be a real treat.
You guys can see a real master at work.
And if you win John Paul, I don't know if John Paul will give away a drawing, but
I don't
if you
think
win
he'd
his
give away,
drawing, man,
yeah, I don't think he'd
you
give
can
away.
You can pay your rent with that money.
Well, actually, if he gives you a sketch and then you sell it, he'll be very upset.
Yes.
He was upset that somebody tried to sell a commission. So,
Well, he told a story. I'm not sure if I can give away too much information, but he did a project in the past with a writer, pretty well-known writer, and it's customary because the writer don't get any any of that after money from the artwork. It's customary to give your writer a page or two. So he gifted this writer a page, and his work is worth a lot of money. I think it wasn't. Maybe it was a while later. He found that piece on eBay that the writer was selling.
oh really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he called him up and said, like, what the f? And mostly you want to know, like, are you in trouble? Do you need money? or, and I don't know if he got a straight answer as to why that piece ended up on eBay.
yeah. I don't know if it's customary to give the writer a page, but I mean, generally, I give the writer a page or two, a couple pages. Was you Sean? Did you give Dan Jurgens a page yet?
No, I can give up a ream of Xerox paper. That's what I can give him.
I gave him a full page splash and a double page splash.
Cool.
He mentioned the page that he liked, and I gifted it to him without him asking for it. But has Yoji figured out who this guy is that I despise? With my last breath in life.
Oh, Mr. Joshua asked if the person once copied a Ben Oliver cover.
I don't know. What's a Ben Oliver cover? Which Ben Oliver cover? Was that a controversy?
I don't know. Ben Oliver is great. It's awesome. I don't know where he finds the time to draw and to do that Last Week Tonight show on HBO.
All right. Okay. Let's do a little battle damage. When it comes to battle damage time, you know that the stream is about to be over.
And then they'll just be followed by 2 hours of putting together the wheel.
Right. Although Crispy said that he had built up some anxiety when I was putting together the wheel last time.
He has post-traumatic stress disorder when you put together the wheel. Oh, don't forget, you got 2 drawings giveaway tonight.
Oh shit, that's right. That's why we could have given away yours first.
Yeah, then some of these people can get to bed.
Right. I like to think they stayed on because of our entertaining conversation.
Yeah, or spilling the tea on the industry and then spreading rumors about people.
Is Steve still on? Steve probably went to sleep. All right, and then we got the eraser. Let's hit it with a couple of eraser.
That's a lot of drawing that took place really fast. There's a lot of accessories on her, and it's fully shaded too.
Do this little. Hit this up right there. Bam, bam. How should any rules we need to revise? How many people? Eventually, we'll get all the rules written down, right? Because then some people are going to get pissed that they get left out. or they missed out on an extra slice. Did we come up with any new rules last time? I think if Sean's... Is your piece inked, Sean?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Then that one is for... that one's for... We gotta save that for maybe like... Because it's inked.
No, I mean, it's inked, but I wouldn't say that means it's better than... I mean, it's still a sketch, but...
Because like
You
that Weapon X
should
one.
show it.
All right.
Yeah, Jay Dang asks what happens when we have 100+ people. That wheel, I mean, the wheel doesn't get bigger; it just gets cut up a lot. So when
Yeah,
it spins, you might have a epileptic attack,
that would be the
or there's
best.
so many different colors. It just turns into a brown wheel.
Yeah, when it's spinning. I think we gotta do like different tiers of spin, right? Everybody has a chance to win, let's say, a sketchbook, right? But then for a sketch, you've got to be like a VIP or a subscriber, right? At some point. Okay, I think we're done, right?
Anyone who's been typing in the chat, you do know that these are super chats, right? So you're getting charged every time you type something. I think was it $5 for
What's a super
to
chat?
read? On YouTube, there's super chats. Like you have to read what they say because they gave you $5 or $10.
Oh, really? I don't think they have that on Twitch, though, do they?
Yeah, they should. If we can make our own super chat, I will read your whatever you say out loud if you want to donate $5 or $10. Barry asks if we use a fixative to. I don't think you use fixative on your pencils, right? You
No,
just
not on
kind
the
of.
pencils. Yeah, this is just how it is.
But I mean, you could. It doesn't harm anything.
Usually it would be like hairspray. You can use hairspray, but that might soak up the paper too much.
Well, I mean, if there is fixative, you don't need hairspray.
Yeah. All right.
So that's the answer to your question, Barry. Thanks a lot for the $5 super chat.
$5. Okay, let's set it up. Streamlabs.
Oh God, this is the part. You gotta show my drawing, but then this is the part that I don't know. Like we gotta find out from
Shit, we've
our
been in
wonderful.
we've been in Red Alert for like an hour.
You gotta find out what these people think about setting up the wheel. Is it the low point of the stream when the wheel's getting set up, or do you think it's okay, tolerable?
Yeah, how do you guys feel about it? There's the wheel. All right, you get that answer. Let me download your image.
Two thinks that the wheel is great. I mean, it takes so long to set up. Oh my God! Look, Wei Hai says the wheel is great.
That's part of the fun, though, is setting up all the new rules every time.
All right.
Ooh, this is nice.
Oh, you think my drawing's nice?
Yeah.
That's a relief.
You were able to ink all this.
Yeah, the wheel setup does build suspense. It's like on those game shows when they said the winner is, and then there's like a long pause, and then they'll let you know when you come back from these messages.
Okay. Accept. Did you name this file, Sean?
Name the what?
Did you name your magic file?
Oh, it just says magic.
Okay, all right. Let me see here. Okay. Sorry, that's the space.
There's got to be an easier way for me to
Okay,
deliver this stuff
this
to you.
one. Well, let me find this. You called it magic. Did you hear that?
Whoa, was that a fart?
Yeah. It was under my
I want to
mic.
ask the people what they think about your farting.
I farted like a couple times already. I don't see it. Are you sure you named it magic?
Yeah, I thought you took a look at it.
Uh. Cancelled. My bad. Hold on. Airdrop. Accept. Okay. All right. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Did you hear that? Okay. It's not coming up. Oh, I gotta turn it on. There it is.
Yeah, you gotta make a fart counter.
Bam.
According to Too Woke.
Sean, you gotta sign it. Anybody from
I'll sign it.
Senegal?
Oh man, please.
Please. I mean, if you have a relative in Senegal, you can send it to them as a gift. There we go. Is that it? That's the whole thing? Okay. Magic. What are we giving away first? Magic? You want to give away your sketch, your rules, Sean. So what kind of rules do you want to put on the wheel?
Oh come on, we gotta get this thing going. Whatever. I mean, just put people just like it always is.
All right, let me run down this list. If you are not on this list,
Thanks, Barry.
okay, let me put the wheel in front. Spin wheel. All right, I'm just going to run down the list from last time. Everybody that's on it gets a +1, right? Is Michael here? Michael's not here.
Oh my god. And then the wheel setup begins.
Barry, I'm adding Barry
And you
to
get
this.
some coffee.
That's why if I give you access, if I give you my password, my Twitch password, you can get on the Streamlabs so you can set this up on your computer.
I don't
In
think I
theory.
can set up. I don't know how it's done.
Because it's on a website. I'm doing this on a website. Is Kevin here? You're gonna have to help me with this, Sean. Is Kevin here?
Yeah, he is.
Kevin's here? Which
Yeah,
one? Oh,
he just
Kevin
put up
West.
that
There he is. There he is.
koala
Okay,
bear picture. Yeah.
Is Too Woke here? Too Woke is not here. Let me add Steve. Steve, make havoc. I'm gonna call LeBron James. LeBron.
What happens if your bird wins this drawing? It gets sent to you, and then it craps on it.
If you want, I think the
Yeah,
bird
I
will
think
only
so.
crap. The bird will only crap on my drawings. Okay. Is Kazuto is here? Kevin's here. Too Woke.
Kevin,
Is Too Woke
he's
here? Too
Yeah.
Woke. Too Woke is here.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, there he is. Here and there. Crispy. Both Crispies are here. Way. Golf Boy's here, I think. Daroka, you still on? Suli here? I don't think I saw Suli today. Suli gets knocked off. J Dang. Is J Dang here? J Dang. Crispy Luke. Joshua. Mr. Joshua. Still put Luke up there. Anybody new? Or do we have anybody new today? Make sure you follow. You can catch this next stream. We might stream tomorrow. I don't know.
You're really encouraging these people to not spread the word about our stream.
Yeah. I think you guys should spread the word so we get more slices. Come on. You just want to be nice. You guys are just trying to hoard everything. They're already trading sketches. Somebody, they're already trading sketches. So Beavis, Butthead, and Sean remain at 1. All right, everybody gets bumped up. Everybody gets added a slice. That's been here since last time. So Y is up to 4. For instance, Yoji's up to 5, Luke's up to 3, Y's up to 4. Way's up to 4.
We're looking for air purifiers.
Kazuto's up to 3 now. Let me save this. So look at this updated wheel. Let me bring the wheel inside the cockpit. Should I bring it inside the cockpit? There we go. Make sure your name's on here. Look at that big slice for Yoji. Way's got a pretty big slice. So the only people with 1, really, Barry. Barry does. I actually don't even see Barry on here. Come on, Barry. Barry stayed all this time.
Yeah, I never knew that Magic had the window, but a lot of reference has it. And that boob window looks like someone's butt.
What are you talking about?
Magic has a boob window like Power Girl.
Oh. On her breastises?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna close it up a bit because it's a little too big.
Yeah,
Like, you
she's a teenager, man. Sean, I think she's like, how old is Magic?
I don't know.
We're gonna have to.
But yeah, I'm gonna close it down a bit.
All right. Everybody, check your wheel. Make sure you got your slices up there. Your name is on the wheel. Make sure you can see your name. If you don't see your name on there, let me know, or forever hold your peace until the next stream. Veritas. Veritas, you came in too late, my man.
Oh no.
Trying to squeeze in on that last second wheel action.
And he's like, waits to the end of the stream to pop in and try to win a drawing. Smart. It's
Veritas,
smart.
next time, man. We caught on. We gave away a sketch last time. I think people complained because somebody jumped on last second. So I've been writing down people's names early on. But Veritas, stay on. You can see, see who wins. Make Havoc, F. I got you in there, man. It's under LeBron. It's a real thin one. LeBron, your color is purple. Right? Purple, right there. Right next to Magic's hair. Between Yoji and Kazuto. And the green one next to that, the teal one, the Miami teal, Miami Vice teal, that's Barry.
Come on, we gotta spin this fucker.
All right, we're gonna spin it. Ready, Mr. Joshua? I got you on there, Luke. Luke's on there. Make sure.
We gotta do 2 spins tonight.
Yeah, we gotta do 2 spins tonight, so everybody has
you
a
don't
pretty
have to
good
change
chance.
the wheel in between, right? So
no, I'm not gonna change the wheel in between. It'll just be 2 spins of the same wheel. That's why I want to set it up and make sure it's all good. All right, everybody that was here last time, you should have 2.
Veritex, we're very close to the end of the stream.
Okay, spin wheel. This is for the Magic sketch here, ink sketch by Mr. Sean Chen.
I will sign it. I will send it to you very soon.
And if you throw up, please take a picture of it.
Unless you live in Croatia, I will not send it to you.
Yeah, only domestic shipping. Here we go. Spin wheel. Dun, 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 dun. Crispy. Crispy. Oh. Crispy egg roll. Congratulations, crispy egg roll.
Wow. That's great.
Congratulations. Please
That's
DM
fantastic.
Mr. Chen your address, name and address.
Yeah.
Don't be like El Cabong. El Cabong won a Wolverine sketch. Did not give me his real name. Only gave me El Cabong. I'm sure everybody here has heard this already.
Yeah.
And so when I sent it out with El Cabone and his address, the USPS wrote on the envelope, "No such person lives here," and returned it back to me. So I wasted like, I don't know, like $8.
Oh, damn.
And it's sitting on my kitchen
Dang,
counter.
Alcabon.
El Cabong. Oh, there you are, El Cabong. Are you on this? Have you been on here, El
So
Cabong?
angry, I'll smash it with a guitar.
El Cabong. Okay. All right. Let me. El Cabong, you don't have a slice for this one. Did you want a slice? Have you been here? Has El Cabong been here, Sean?
Yeah, he's been here, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you didn't have...
Look, I didn't have El
Uh-oh.
Cabong on there.
Well, come on. Well,
I'm going to add El
I don't know
Cabong
if
for
we can...
mine. All right, El Cabong.
Okay.
For mine.
Very sorry, Alcabong. I don't know if you wanted this drawing, but you weren't on that wheel.
El Cabong. I said for name, if you don't see your slice up there. Crispy goes back down to 1 slice, right? We gotta. If you win, you gotta go back down to 1. So let me move Crispy back down to 1. El Cabong's got 1. El Cabong, you got 2 because you were here last time. Okay. And Steve, if you show up next time, you'll get 2. But then because you're a Laker fan, you go back -1, go back down to 1. Okay, here we go. Good luck, everyone. And usually new people win. Let me get... Okay, so now we're going for the Zealot. Right? Zealot. Okay, thank you for watching. Damn it, that's how it is, man. Laker fans only get 1. Regardless of how many times you show up. Once they're knocked out of the playoffs, then you get your normal amount. Maybe tomorrow. Sean, how do you feel about streaming tomorrow? I don't know. We'll see.
Whatever. I mean, if you're on, I'll be on.
We might try to do one every day this week. I don't know. My team is the Heat, Way. Way, you get -1 for asking me that question. Because, come on, man. I'm from Miami. Way, you just got knocked down -1. Okay. Yoji looks like the favorite to win this one. What do you think? Who's the number 1? Who's number 2? Luke number 2. Way still number 2. Way Golf Boy won last time. Golf Boy, you gotta go back down.
Yeah.
Golf Boy, you gotta go back. You won last time, so
you're making big changes to the wheel in between spins.
yeah. Where's Golf Boy? Golf Boy, you gotta go back down. Okay. Let's go. Ready? Everybody's last call. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there. Don't claim to be an award-winning artist when you haven't won anything. Too Woke? Didn't Too Woke win recently? Didn't Too Woke win last time? This might be a misspin. I thought Too Woke won last stream.
Nothing that I did. Several streams ago.
Okay, well, Too Woke, you got it. How many streams ago was it? Or what did you win?
You still have the piece, so you can
Too
put it
Woke got the
in the
Wonder
same
Woman?
package.
I can put it in the same package. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
You
actually
saved
hoping
yourself
people
$7.
double up. Mr. Joshua double up. Wow, you got the, yeah. That's 2 streams ago. Okay, all right. Congratulations, Too Woke. Let me knock you back down to 1. Wow. Wow, you guys are cleaning up here. Let me save this. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll try to make sure you hit that follow button. Where is it? Somewhere down there. See you guys maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. More drawing.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for co-hosting.
Yeah, no
Thanks
problem.
everybody for staying on.
Thanks everyone for being so patient. We'll be back.
Okay.